Manikandan, yes.
So good morning once again. So today we have Mr. Manikandan. He will be giving a short presentation on leveling. So thanks for joining. So over to Mr. Manikandan. You may please start.
Thank you, Mr. Vigas, and thank you all the participants. So showing your interest on joining this webinar. So today webinar topic is geophysics leveling. So just I'm sharing my screen. I think my screen is visible, so now I can start. So today our webinar topic is geophysics leveling. So actually normally in airborne geophysical data and marine data, this geophysics leveling are very normal. So this error will occur in most of the data. So here what I am going to cover. So what is the geophysics leveling error and how can we identify that error? So how can we remove by using Geosoft OSIS Mundas software? So first of all, so we need to understand how the geophysics leveling error is occurring our geophysical data. So there is two types of errors now generally occur in geophysical data. That is called systematic error and systematic noise. So here we need not consider about anthropogenic errors. So what are the artificial effects on the data? So we are not going to cover that part here. So we are only considering systematic errors and systematic noise. So if you see these three images, so in first image you can see there is a lot of strip like noises are occurring in this data. So this is normally airborne aeromagnetic data. So here you can see the strip like errors. So we don't know this what type of errors. This may be a systematic error or systematic noise. Both are here occurring. So first we need to identify so what is the systematic error and what is systematic noise. So I just give some definition. Systematic error, that is a measurable error in our geophysical data. So which are the data we can measure and we can remove by applying some mathematical methods, that we call systematic errors. So what we cannot predictable. So after we did all the corrections or mathematical formulas, so there is some errors are remaining in data. So that we can call systematic noise. So that is called leveling error. The systematic noise is called leveling error. So you can see this the center one image. So this is after after removing systematic error, we are getting this now. So, but still here we are having some noises. So this is, you can call this, this is possibly due to leveling error. So once we remove this leveling error, then we can get clear image. So there is no noise. So here in OSIS Mundas, we are having some modules so that we can remove this leveling error. So that part we are going to see brief. So the systematic error, I just give some basic ideas. I will not go to much deeper on the systematic error. So what are the systematic errors basically on aeromagnetic data? So here I taken that aeromagnetic data is for example, but that procedure is same for other method also. So we can call this lag correction, heading correction, and base station IGRF. So these are the some systematic errors. So this we can calculate by some test flights or putting some base stations or already predefined this IGRF corrections. So based on that values, we can correct these errors. So I just give some small introduction about these corrections. So what is lag correction in particularly in airborne geophysical surveys? So the sensors and all this recording instruments will be fit in the center of the aircraft, either in fixed wing or helicopter. So, but this sensor will fix on tail or somewhere in wings. So mostly tail sensor will use for our final data. So here you can see this GPS unit is in center and the sensor unit is in our tail. So there is some lag is there. So when we are crossing some anomaly or any dike-like features in two directions, suppose our survey direction east-west, so we will cover east-west and then west-east. So that time that lag will occur. So how it occurs? Suppose that flight is flying on from this east to west. So now our GPS location is here, but our sensor is here. When we are going on reverse direction, so same GPS position will be here, but our recording sensor position is here. So there is a lag between these two. So when we are seeing map, so suppose in this map you can see this type of errors will occur as zigzag. So in any linear features, you can get some zigzag type of errors will occur. This is called lag correction. So this can be removed by flying some test flights before conducting survey. So if any man-made bridges, so over that bridge, we can fly in two direction and then we can calculate this lag noise, then we can remove from data. Same like heading corrections. So normally these aircrafts having their own generated noises. So when this engine and some other instrument will generate noise, when we turn the aircraft, so this noise also will change. So that is called heading corrections. So that correction also we can remove by test flights by flying on over high altitudes. So this is the some typical calibration for this heading. So flight will fly on each 4 directions. So basically our starting line is our survey line directions. So this will be tail line direction. The next one is base station correction. So that we can calculate by putting a separate base station on ground. So then we can correct that diurnal variation for magnetic survey and some drift corrections for gravity survey, like that. So the final one, IGRF correction, that is for only for magnetic survey. So based on this latitude variation, that that will affect our data, so that can be removed. So actually these procedures are same for all methods, but some of the in magnetic survey we can apply this 4, and gravity there is no need for IGR, only 3, and suppose for radiometric survey only lag and heading is enough. So these are some basic ideas about corrections. So once we remove these systematic errors from our data, so then if you are finding some errors remaining our data, so that is we can call leveling error. So here we are going to see how we can remove this, how we can identify and we can remove using our OSIS Montage software. So everybody I think know OSIS Montage, very industrial best software. So there we are having this module level geophysics leveling. So how we are dealing with this leveling error in OSIS montage. So there are two main steps are there. One is tie line leveling and micro leveling. So in general, all airborne geophysical surveys, they will fly tie line also. So that we can call control line also, because these lines will helpful for further processing data in many way. So here we are using that same control lines for our leveling process. So in this process, first we are taking these control lines with refer to the survey lines, so that we can remove the leveling error. So before taking the static tie lines as reference, so the tie line should be leveled. So for that we are applying statistical leveling here. So where we can apply, so before that we need to calculate intersection points where these tie and surveillance are intersecting. So that points are very important. First we need to calculate that points. So whatever we are applying the statistical methods, so it will applicable on this intersection points. Then micro leveling. So in micro level, after removing this leveling error from tie line, so still some errors if present in the data, so that we can remove from micro leveling. So that is completely mathematical filters. So we can apply some combination of 3-4 filters. So then we can remove our remaining leveling errors. So we are going to see detail. First, I'll calculate the intersection points, tie line leveling. So these are the general survey data acquisition part. So how the survey lines are flying. So these are the survey lines, these east-west and north-south are tie lines. So generally this survey pattern will be like that in your airborne geophysical surveys. So first we are going to calculate the intersection points. So this system will calculate the intersection points. So where the tie and flight lines are intersecting. So these points you cannot get exact. So if you not get exact, so the system will take any two nearest points and then take average of both. So that point will fix X location of intersection points. First we are locating XY, then we are calculating what's the value of that point in tie lines and survey lines both. So after getting that both values, so we can get the difference also. So at the same time, this software will calculate one more parameters, that is called gradients. So this also very useful. We can refer for further processing, because gradients means it will calculate how that horizontal gradient are varying. So based on these surrounding points, it will calculate these gradient values. So that also will present. So these values are these XY and difference values and gradients are will generate in table. So we need not to calculate manually. So the system, the software will calculate automatically and save as a table file. We'll get all these informations. So, but generally in this intersection points, it could be same, but in practically it will not same, because that's the reason behind. So that may be some high horizontal gradient or some high vertical gradient. These are very rarely occurring magnetic storm activity or diurnal variation error also will present there. So due to this reason, this intersection point error, that's called mistie, may occur on this data. So now we generate that intersection points with data. So then how can we apply the statistical leveling of these data? So we are importing this table into our database. So it will show what's the cross level. That means the survey line data and cross difference. What's the difference between survey and tie lines and cross gradient? So these three values will appear in this database. So simultaneously we can see this profile view. So how these data are varying. So this is the important one, cross difference. So we are dealing with this channel only. Before applying any statistical trend, or we are before calculating the trend, so here we can do some manual processing also. If there are any points are quite away from this general trend, that we can remove manually, because so in this case we can take refer from this gradient channel also, because once the gradient variation is high, there's possible of this difference value is also high. So this points we need no need for applying trend. So if you are keeping these points, so it will be some misunderstanding, or the trend will be changed. So we want to follow this general trend. So for that reason, we can remove this the suspicious points. So this is some manual processing in this data. So once we clear all these tie lines are clear with these suspicious points, then we can go for the statistical trend calculations. So here we are. So what's the main things of the statistical leveling? So we are calculating, or we are modeling a trend on these cross difference values. So based on these tie lines. So once we our main aim is we can remove this trend. So once we remove the trend, the tie lines are in leveled. So then we can take this tie lines for surveillance to correct the surveillance data. So here we are having 4 methods to remove the to calculate the statistical trend. So shift, linear, and spline, B-Lens function. So normally shift means we are applying constant value, either positive or negative, to the data to fit the data. This is linear least square feet of the data. So spline function and B-Spline function. If you want if your data is more complex, then we can go for spline or B-Spline. Generally, shift and linear we can use. So this will calculate the general trend of the this missed tie. That's the intersection point errors. So that we can add it into our tie lines. So that now the tie lines are leveled. So now we can take this tie lines to refer our surveillance, and we can correct that surveillance. So that is called full leveling. So now we are having set of tie lines, they are leveled. So here again we are calculating. Now we are going to correct surveillance. So for that again we are calculating this intersection points. So with this corrected tie lines. So now the differences will not much, but still some difference may be there. So that we can either remove or we can keep. No, there is no problem. So by using this, we can take refer of gradient also. So if there is more gradient, then no need to keep that points. So after getting this gross difference value, so that is the leveling error. So that error we can directly add into our survey lines. So now the survey lines are leveled by using these tie lines. So after completing this process, if still some errors are present in our data, so then we can go for our next method, that is called micro leveling. So normally these tie lines cannot remove all the leveling errors. So there may be some residual error will present in the data. So for that, to remove the that error, we are having another methods called micro leveling. So this basically this micro leveling it will remove this low amplitude flatline noise, because already this high amplitude noise are removed by tie lines. So whatever the remain, that's low amplitude flatline noise, that can be removed from micro leveling process. So here what we are doing, so first we are extracting noise from data. using some decorrelation filter. Decorrelation is some combination of two filters. So directly we are applying filters and we are removing the we are extracting the noises from data. So so here we are using decorrelation filter, and then after extracting the noise, there also we can apply some filters to limit the data, because we need not to lose any geological response from the data. So for that we are applying again some filters to limit the noise data. So then we are subtracting that noise grid from original grid. This is the general procedure for micro leveling. So I'm going to explain what is the decorrelation filter. So first we are extracting noise in micro leveling. So this decorrelation filter is combination of two filters, high pass Butterworth filter and directional filter. So here you can see this is some leveling grid. So here you can see some north-south strip of lines. So that is always present along the line direction. So that is why we are calling systematic noise. So this will not align any random directions. So it will all arrange in line directions. So that's the reason here we are using first high pass Butterworth filter. So here these strips are along north-south directions, and with some this amplitude we can remove by high pass Butterworth filter. So this filter will apply perpendicular to the directions. So we are applying this filter perpendicular to the directions so the default is we are using 4 times the line direction, this Butterworth filter wavelength. So if your if your line interval is 100 meters, so we can fit 400 meters. So at least we need 4 points across the lines. So then only we can identify how that high pass this high amplitude signals, high frequency signals can be removed from this data. So here already we are having strip-like features, so that we can capture from high pass Butterworth filter. So this wavelength can be changed based on the errors in the data. So it's depend on interpreter or who is processing that data. So again, here we are having one more filter, directional filter, because suppose if we are having any other direction, that means east-west or northwest direction, some high frequency our geological signal is there. So that also this high pass Butterworth filter will catch. So to avoid that, we are using directional filter also. So here we are fitting our line directions. So whatever this the high frequency wavelengths differ from this directions, it will avoid, it will not take. Only along the line directions it will capture this high frequency signals. So after getting after applying this filter, we can get the grid like this. This is the noise grid. So here we can see this north-south noise strips. So these are having some general amplitudes, so that we can calculate from standard deviation of this grid. So we can get this amplitude of these noise values. So now we have applied one filter and we have extracted noise, but still there may be some geological signal will presence, because if any feature like this small one, so that also may be included in this noise grid, because this we cannot avoid this type of geological signals, because we are using high pass filter. Where this type of feature also will include in the our noise grid. And also if any features along north-south directions, suppose some dikes are exact north-south direction, so that also that also will present in this noise grid, because this filter will catch that. To remove that, we are having some more filters, that is called Nadi filter. So and also we can limit the noise values. So this Nadi filter, what will do, this is a kind of low pass filter. This will apply along the line directions. So in an earlier decorrugation filter, that apply across the line. So but here this Nardi filter will apply along the direction. So here we can give some wavelengths. So this 4 times of this wavelengths. So this Nardi filter will calculate 4 times above the wavelength. So 4 times of fitted one. So that can be detectable, and so whatever the data less than that wavelengths, it will not catch. So if you are having any small geological signals, so that can be eliminated on here using this Nardi filter. So again, if you are having some geological signals, so that might have some different amplitudes. So for that we are having amplitude limit also. So once we are calculating standard deviation of this grid, so we can identify what's the noise amplitude of noise. So we can fit that value into this amplitude limit. So it will capture only that range of amplitudes to remove from the data. So this combination of 4 filters will helpful to retain our geological signals. We will not lose any geological signals up to you can say 99%. So remaining this noise, we can subtract from our noise grid. So then we can get finally our noise clear leveled grid. So these are about tie line leveling and micro leveling. So there is some application of geophysical leveling. So already know we are in airborne geophysical surveys, gravity, magnetic, radiometric, we can apply this geophysics leveling. Particularly for radiometric survey, this leveling are very common. So any small changes can affect this type, will produce this leveling error. In marine also we can use in some certain cases. So this is some overall procedure what I explained now. So we are first evaluating grids. We are identifying which is systematic errors or noise. Then we are applying this systematic corrections. So after corrections, if any errors are there, then we are going for leveling. Then we are going for micro leveling. So here one advantage is that if you don't have any tie lines, or if your data is collected in very long back, or if you don't have any idea about these tie lines, so then if you are having some grid form, so directly we can apply this micro leveling. So we can skip this tie line part also here. So this is the overall procedure. So now we are having some time, so I will take some quick tour on OSIS Montage software. So I just show how the tools are there. So this is the OSIS.
Stop sharing the presentation.
Just a minute, I'll share. I think now you can see that software. So here, generally this in manage menus, we can see this geophysics leveling modules available or not. So here we can see this will available in extension geophysics leveling. Once we are clicked here, so we can get these modules in our menu bar. So here we are having tie line leveling and micro leveling. So whatever I explained, so all the tools are here. So these leveling utilities we can There's some basic tools, how to calculate statistics of some channel, or how can we use this interpolation. And if you want to find trend, that also we can do here. So these are some basic tools. This can be useful in leveling, and this leveling correction also is here. So if you want to lag correction, heading correction, that we can do here also. So these are some intersections calculation. So it will ask survey and tie lines. If you given this survey and tie lines, so it will automatically calculate the intersection table. Again, here we are in load correction. If you are giving load corrections, then this database will appear. So here you can see this cross level values. Actually, this is first we are doing tie lines. So this is tie line data, and this is the survey line data. So then we can get some cross difference also here, and cross gradient. So like that. So based on these three values, we can adjust. So if you want to remove some highly deviated points, we can remove here. Otherwise, we can go for next step. So next is statistical leveling. So here we can apply this statistical trend. So here we can the trend order. We can give 0 means shift correction, and 1 is least square feet, and 2 and 3 are spline functions. So based on your cross different profiles, you can choose so which type of trend is suitable for this type of errors. So once we applying this statistical trend, so then we can go for full leveling. So full leveling means then we are correcting surveillance using this corrected tie lines. So here we are having one more options, iterative level. So that is called some automatic procedure. So what we are doing, this calculating intersection points, and this manual processing, and this statistical trend. So that will calculate automatically in this options. So here also we are having some iterations, 1, 2, 3 iteration also we can do for getting some good values. So this is some same procedure just for automatic purposes. So here we are having one more options, careful leveling. So I did not cover because this is also same procedure what we are doing symbol leveling. So here we are applying this this statistical correction for all data. But here, suppose if you are our data having some error in some particular part, if you want to apply some 2-3 lines or some portion of the grid, so that time you can go for these corrections. So this is careful leveling means that's the meaning. So we can go for some deeper for particular part of the grids. So once we done this leveling, tie line leveling, if still we are getting some errors, then we can go for this micro leveling. So I already told the extraction of noise. So here we are giving decorrugation filter wavelength. So this is the wavelength. So this is based upon our processor and interpreter. So generally the default is 4 times the line interval. So here we are using 2250 decorrugation cutoff wavelength. So here also we can give this flight line directions. So this will use for this directional filter. So after extracting noise, then we can do micro leveling. So here automatically it will take that channels what we are that extracted noise. So there we are having these two options, amplitude, limit level. So based on the standard deviation of this noise data, we can fit. Otherwise, if you want to change some other values also, for example, if you are having some high amplitude noise, then we can adjust as per our convenience. So here two options are there. So above the limit, whether it can be clipped or we can convert as 0. These two options are there. So this also optional, we can select. So this is Nadi filter wavelength. So this also as per our requirement. So which type of geological data wavelengths we can retain in the data. So based on that, we can fit this Nadi filters. So after micro leveling, we can remove almost 99% of leveling errors from the data. So that's all about geophysics leveling. Now participants, if you have any questions, you can ask now. So I can give some answer.
You can type in the chat box if you have any questions. I think there's no questions, so that's all for today. So thank you everybody for joining. So we'll close for today. Thank you.